What's up, everybody? It's your boy Progress P, and you watching Real Food for Thought. This the day after Tropical Storm Barry. Still here. Thank God for that, huh? But it wasn't as bad as they predicted. Not in our area anyway. And they always predicting something to get you to go run out and spend all your money at these stores and everything. Man, these people are something else, bro. But anyway, man, enough of that. We're here. Today, I'm gonna share why I chose the name Progress P. And I want y'all to really listen to this. Don't touch that button. Don't do anything, man. Listen to me. Alright? Check it out. Now, and this could probably help you too. Cause that's what I want to do, man. That's what my biggest goal is, to especially for these youngsters, man. I really want these youngsters to get on my channel, man. I want them to see what I'm talking about. And I'm not gonna always be so serious, cause I got a sense of humor, dog. I love to play. I find a lot of stuff funny. I really am a clown at heart, so I like to do that too. But seriously, I really do want to impact people's lives in a positive way. I want to help people avoid that jailhouse. I want to help people avoid that death sentence. I want to help people avoid all of that heartbreak that comes with being in the streets, bro. Because it's a lot and it's bad. It's bad, man. And when you're younger and you see people glorifying it, like the drug dealers showing off their money, showing off their cars, riding by looking fly with the sunroof open and everything, bro, you seeing all of that stuff and you thinking, man, that's the way, that's the way. But when you actually start living it, you start to realize, man, this ain't nothing. This is nothing. This is not anything what it's totally different from what I thought. I couldn't even find words to describe that feeling of realizing you just stepped into some shit that was not what it was advertised to be. That's scary and it's crazy. But anyway, bro, that's what my whole objective is to catch these youngsters before they start making the same mistakes I did, steer them in a different direction, man. If I could do that for one youngster, bro, I'm going to be ecstatic. If I could help one adult that's been through this system and that's been in the streets, if I can just remind you of everything you got to lose and just keep you on the right track whenever you getting ready to veer off, and you could hear something I said that made you say, oh no, man, I know not to go back that route. I'm going to stick to what I'm doing now. That's so rewarding, bro. That's so rewarding. And it's therapeutic for me. I just remind myself of everything that I have to lose. But the progress I want to share, I picked Progress P. I like that name for myself because I made progress that's so monumental in my life. But it's not the kind of progress that I can show off in material things. At least not yet. But I'm working hard. I'm working hard so I can have things and that I can give to my family too. And that I can pass things to my children and that I don't have to worry about them when I get ready to pass on and go to my resting place, my final resting place. I can rest in peace knowing that I took care of my family. So, with that being said, let me just give you a small picture of what I'm talking about. Look behind me. See that door? That's my bedroom door, all right? It's right behind me. I can just literally get up and take a step over there and be out of my living room and into my bedroom, all right? And I'm not complaining, dog. This is progress for me. And on the outside looking in, if you just see this picture, you would say, wow, that little place, I wouldn't want to live like that. Let me show you something else. Check this out. Just a few more steps away in another direction. Bam. You notice? That's the kitchen. Just a few steps away. See how little that is? But that's progress for P. You know why? Because I remember a time where my whole entire house was smaller than my living room alone. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when I had to share that house with a total stranger. Didn't know who was coming in. Didn't know who I had to live with. Didn't know who I had to sleep with. You understand, man? I had no choice in the matter. Whoever they put in there, that's who it was. And that's just that. Couldn't do nothing about it. So, yeah, man. That's progress for me. I don't have the kind of progress in material that I can talk, but I definitely, in my situation is so progressive. I remember when I first came home from jail, I told you all about the program that I'm in, the IBEW, and that I've already knocked out 3 years of this 5-year program. So within 2 years, I'll be graduating from school, and I'll be making the money that I can make on one job and support my whole family from that one job. And that's the goal. You know, you want a career, something that you can take care of your family with, something with benefits, you know, something with some retirement. You want something that's going to guarantee you a secure future, a financially secure future. And that's what I'm investing my time and my energy into now. But anyway, when I first came home, man, let's go back to before when I first came home. Let's talk about being out there in the streets and being a drug dealer. All right? As a drug dealer, we always like to talk about the money we made, the cars we drove, the clothes we wore, chicks we, you know, just a whole bunch of braggadocious. Every time I see drug dealers talking about their past, it's always about the shine and the fun. But I never hear these drug dealers talk about the drugs that they used. You see what I'm saying? They don't talk about their addiction that people don't know about. I was addicted to drugs myself. I was addicted to opiates. I was addicted to that marijuana, because that's addictive too. People can say what they want, man. I had to have it, and when I didn't have it, I was mad, irritated, disgusted. So I had to have those opiates. I had to have that marijuana. At one time in my life, I was addicted to that coke. And at another time in my life, I was addicted to those X pills. I never did crack. I never did heroin. I sold crack. That's what I lived off, selling crack. And I was a functional drug addict. I was a drug addict that if you didn't really know me and you didn't know me, you know, you didn't know me personally, if you didn't do drugs with me or know that I liked those drugs, you couldn't look at me from the outside and tell that I did drugs. I was a drug dealer. I mean, you can definitely, you know, that's what it was. But I was a drug addict. And that's the reason I was a drug dealer, is because I was a drug addict. I couldn't go get a job with drugs in my system, and I wasn't willing to stop doing drugs to go get a job. So I was on the block. And that's how most drug dealers are. That's how most drug dealers come to be drug dealers. Some of them have different circumstances, man, but the majority, the most part, that's what it is. So I came from that to going to prison. Fast forward, I get out of prison. When I come home, I got my mind made up now that my life have to change, because I'm tired of going back and forth to prison. I'm tired of being a drug addict. I'm tired of being a drug dealer. I'm tired of always having to duck the cops. So on and so forth, man. You know the life. If you ever been in the streets, you know the life. If you have any family members that's been in the streets, then you should be familiar enough to understand what I'm saying. But anyway, I came home and I decided that my life needed to change, so I embarked on my journey of progress. I came home from jail, and when I first came home, in prison, I told you all before that I graduated from HVAC. You know, that's air conditioning and refrigeration for those who don't know. I graduated from HVAC. I got EPA certified and everything. So that means I can go to the supply house and buy AC refrigerant, you know, R22, or you know, whatever, R22, 110A, you know, different stuff like that. So I came home and I couldn't get a job doing that, because nobody would give me an opportunity, because they said I had the school certifications, but I didn't have job experience. And some people just flat out turned me down because I was a convicted felon. So that was very discouraging. That was a very discouraging time in my life when I first came home. But I stuck with it. I just kept praying, bro. Kept going to work. What I was doing was I was cutting grass at the time. I couldn't get a real job just like that when I got on. So I came home and I actually had to cut grass with an uncle of mine. And I wasn't making much money doing that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people cut grass with somebody before, and you know you don't get paid for that. You cut a lot of grass too. Have grass all in your ears, all in your nose. coughing up grass, sneezing grass, and the only thing you never see is some money. But anyway, so I got through that. And man, me and my uncle got into it before too about that, man, not paying me enough money for that all that work. I used to leave in the morning and come back in the evening sometimes, bro. And after a whole week, I might have $320. And I'm talking about leaving at 7, 8 in the morning and coming back at 6, 7 at night. But I had to deal with that for a couple of weeks. I dealt with that for about a month or two, man. Just, I was still trying to find real employment. So I got lucky. Well, what I thought was lucky at the time, right? I dealt with that for a month, whatever, however long I just said, and I got lucky. Ran across this contractor. He had this painting company. And when I got hired on with him, he hired me on as a laborer, paying me $13 an hour. And he was telling me that painters, painters make up to $25 an hour in Louisiana, and I'll take you in as a laborer and get you trained and everything and get you certified, and you'll be making $25 an hour before you know it. And I never had a job that paid me $12 an hour in my life. Never. I never kept a job long. But every job that I had, I never had one that paid me $12, $15 an hour. Never. I can't recall ever having a job that paid me that much. So he hired me on at $13 an hour and was promising to make something of me, that I was going to be a certified painter and I'd be making $25 an hour. But it turned out that he was only using me up. He just had me on because he had a little work at that time and he needed an extra man or two so he can get the jobs done. And then when he got his jobs done, I got that layoff. He asked me for his tools and, he laid me off. And he started calling me whenever he had little small jobs, like a day or two jobs. So he called me a couple of times. I went and worked for him for 2 days. And then another time I went and worked for him for 3 days. And he was still promising work, And I was feeling like he was jerking me, but I really couldn't do much about it at the time because I didn't have nothing else to fall back on. So I dealt with that for a little bit, and I went to the temp service, and I knew that was going to be $10 an hour until I found something. So I went to the temp service. Now, all this while, selling drugs had never crossed my mind again. I was just determined not to do that again. I couldn't do it. I'm not doing it. So I went to the temp service and filled out the application, and that's all you have to do is fill out those applications, and the temp service will take you on and send you all over the place, and you will be doing some crazy stuff for that $10 an hour. So anyway, I dealt with that, went signed on at the temp service, and then after that, that's when I ran across the IBEW. This took a few months, almost. Yeah, but I came home in August of 2015, and by December I had found the IBEW. So from August to December I was dealing with all of this riffraff. So I got into the IBEW, and I didn't get right into the apprenticeship program, but I knew the apprenticeship program was accessible to me. I came on as a CW, which was just a laborer, but I came an electrical laborer. So I came on as an electrical laborer with the promise of if I did everything that was required of me, I would be accepted into the apprenticeship program despite having prior offenses and whatnot. So I got into I started working, and I realized that electrical, I can learn this. So, I was like, damn, man, that sounds like a lot, though, this 5-year program. I mean, I had just done school in jail. In prison, I did air conditioning, and I did serve safe. I told you about that in another video too. But I had just done all of that, and I was definitely not looking forward to going to school again for 5 more years. But I was looking at my situation and determined not to take a backward step. So I had to accept the terms. I had to go to school, because if I would have stayed a CW, I'd still be a CW right now. But right now, I'm a 4th year apprentice now. I'm going into my 4th year. Right now, we on a break from school. But when we start back up in September, I'm going into my 4th year as an apprentice. Now, I'm getting closer to the money from, to the electrical money. But I'm also reaching for something greater. You understand? And that's why I'm doing this YouTube thing now. And when I first told people that I was going to start YouTubing, some of them were very encouraging and supportive. Say, man, you could do this thing, bro. You can do this, man. I talk to you all the time, bro. I know you can do this. You got it in you. Some people laughed, and that was kind of discouraging. I was like, man, I don't want people to just start laughing at me. Nobody wants to be. That's why a lot of people don't reach for things that they dream about. And that's the point of this video, man. Reach for your dreams. Don't let nothing and nobody deter you. Don't let nothing scare you away from it, dog. Because if you don't reach for it, you'll never get it, bro. Reach for those dreams. I'm reaching for something greater. And man, the reason I shared all this with you also about where I am right now and me not having material progress is because I want you to be able to see this thing. I want y'all to ride with me, take this ride with me, and see this thing unfold. And I want you to know that if it can happen for me, it can happen for you. And it can happen for that person in your family that you love and that you want to see straighten their lives out. It can happen for them too. It can happen. If it can happen for me, it can happen for you. It can happen for anybody, bro. I'm 39 years old right now. And I'm just now finally getting my life together. And just now finally realizing that I can do something great. And it doesn't have to be done in the streets. I don't have to risk my life to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it could be greater than everything that I ever done out there, which was nothing great about it in the first place. I just didn't know that at the time. But, man, just want y'all to see this thing unfold. Like I said, I wanted to see it. I want you to see it unfold right before your eyes. I don't want you to see me, like the success stories we see where the guy's sitting in Hollywood telling his story about when he was under the jail. I wish I could have had my journey documented from before I got here. But by me just being here in this 2-bedroom apartment with my wife and my 3 kids, and I also have a son that I need to get back to because I lost custody of him when I was in court. And I'm definitely about to get off parole real soon. And I will be back in court before this year is out. Not to fight, just to get my parental rights back. But making progress, man. I want y'all all to know that all progress is progress. No matter how small it may seem, as long as it's a step in the right direction, that's progress. Any step in the right direction is progress, man. That's my real food for thought for the day. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. Don't let anybody laugh you out your position. Don't let anybody tell you you're not good enough, you're not engaging enough, you're not this, you're not that. Don't let anybody tell you anything, man. You got to tell yourself what it is, and you got to believe yourself. You got to make yourself happen. You got to make yourself make it happen. You heard me? It's my real food for thought for the day, man. God bless y'all. I just had an afterthought too, people. I forgot to ask y'all to hit that like button, to share my stuff, to subscribe, and give me some feedback in the comment section too, man. Any thoughts you have or any questions you got. You got any videos that you want me to give my perspective on, send that to me. I like all that, man. Give me some feedback, man. Let's interact, man. Another thing too is I wanted to mention that I intend to keep it real on this channel. And keeping it real is also talking about embarrassing shit. Things that you're embarrassed about, like being on all those different drugs at all those different times. The whole time I was out there selling drugs, I was using drugs. But I was able to mask it with always having a nice car, always having nice clothes, always staying clean. I was able to mask it, and that was important to me too. Always looking good. That was very important to me. And no matter how much drugs I did, looking good never lost its importance. And there are a lot of drug users out there like that, so you wouldn't know they're drug users. But yeah, most drug dealers are drug users. They just, it's important to them to look good, so they keep it up. Some junkies just their number one priority just becomes feeding their drug habit, and that's the ones that you see out there in the gutter. But yeah, for the most part, drug dealers are drug users. But I wanted to remind y'all to hit that like button, to subscribe, and to please share my stuff. And yeah, I intend to keep it real, and that's what keeping it real is. So we're gonna talk about it. Food for thought, real food for thought.